Bonjour, I'm novelist Elizabeth Musser, and I'm here to talk about my new novel, By Way of the Moonlight. I'm actually standing in the front yard of my childhood home in Atlanta, Georgia. We affectionately call this home Nancy Creek because it is on Nancy Creek Road. But the reason I'm standing here is because it is the inspiration for my new novel, and much of the action takes place in and around this house, which in the novel is called Hickory Hills, and you will find out later from other videos why it's called Hickory Hills. But I just thought you would be interested in seeing this house. So my grandfather built it in 1938, and it's been added on throughout the years, and it looks like a one-story, but it goes down a big hill, and in the back it turns into a three-story home with a barn in the backyard. Can't wait to tell you more. Stay tuned. By Way of the Moonlight. In the novel, Allie, the present-day protagonist, quotes the poem The Road Less Traveled by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, but be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. And here are the two roads that diverge. This is behind the house. And if you take this road, you go up to the riding ring. And if you take this road, you go to the barn, which is there in the distance. Here's my inspiration for Hickory Hills, the name in the book of the stables and the property. This is the barn where I grew up feeding horses, showing horses, shoveling lots and lots of manure. Up there is the riding ring. I'll be showing that to you in a few minutes with our one-eyed pony. And here is the house that inspired Hickory Hills in By Way of the Moonlight. As you can see, it's a three-story structure that's been added onto little by little throughout the years. And we say it's our family's little private, rustic paradise. So thankful for what we call Nancy Creek, and in the book it's called Hickory Hills. This is the back of the property that in the novel is called Hickory Hills. And again, the roads diverged. I'm walking backwards up what we call in the novel the second rocky road, the second driveway. So we've taken the road less traveled and we're going towards the riding ring. So I'm going to open the gate to the paddock and come inside with me. And if you go straight ahead, we'll go to the riding ring. But what I wanted to show you right now is the barn. You saw the front of the barn. This is the back of the barn. And if you look down to the edge of the barn, you'll see the one-eyed pony Fudgy. I don't know if you can make him out. Hey Fudgy, how you doing? So this again is the barn that inspired the barn in By Way of the Moonlight. I will say that that barn is a lot fancier than this one. But Fudgy wanted to say hi to you too. Here we are at the riding ring. We've walked up from the paddocks. We've taken the road less traveled, walked up from the paddocks. And this is the riding ring. When I was a young teen and a girl, I rode back here, and there were more trees and lots of jumps. Now it's less used, but the size of the riding ring is the same as what I describe in By Way of the Moonlight. And this is, as you can see, it's beautiful with the trees, and we can often see deer back here. But in the novel, the first line of the novel says, "Dinosaur bones found in Buckhead backyard." And this is the Buckhead backyard I'm talking about. There's a backhoe that is digging up the ring and finds, quote unquote, dinosaur bones. It's not dinosaur bones. I bet you can guess what it is. You'll have to read to make sure. By Way of the Moonlight. Okay, in the novel I talk about a crater. I think I call it a crater or a meteor. I can't remember. I got my terminology wrong, and my wonderful editor corrected me. But anyway, it's a big rock behind the riding ring. And so here's right? And some really important things happen on this rock. And this is my inspiration. And when I was a little girl, we would come back here with my brother, and even my younger brother, who's 14 years younger, he remembers this too. They would tell stories about giant blunderbuss. And I'm not telling those stories in the novel, but you have seen it. This rock, crater, meteor, or you come up with a name, or find out when you read By Way of the Moonlight. We're right behind the writing ring now. Another thing that is very important and symbolic are horseshoes. And here you can see the prints, the hoof prints of the horses. And if you look in the distance, I think you can see there is a stairway, and it is used to help people get up on the horse. And it's used a lot in equine therapy, but in the book it's used for one of the main characters needs this, and someday you'll find out why this person, not telling you if it's a girl or a boy, needs a stairway like this to get on the horse. I've given you a little tour of Hickory Hills outside. Now I'm taking you inside, and in a moment I'll take you into the ribbon room, but first I wanted to show you this plaque. A pony's worth depends on how he's reared. I painted this when I was probably 9 or 10, and I was just so pleased with my little pun. In the novel, the young protagonist Dale is inspired by a plaque she finds that looks very similar to this. I thought you would be interested to see that we novelists, we get inspired for our own novels by all kinds of different things, and I found this in my parents' house a few years ago while I was brainstorming By Way of the Moonlight, and there it is. So, By Way of the Moonlight. These are a few more of my novels. There's my mom with her champion thoroughbred when she was probably about 50, and my dad. They both have passed away, beloved, and this story is an ode to them. Are in the ribbon room. As you can see, as I describe in the book, there are lots of ribbons. Maybe not quite as many as I describe in the book, but lots of paraphernalia from my mom and my own horse showing days. I want to take you over to this picture where this is my mom and her friend with their look-alike horses in the couples class, because as you read By Way of the Moonlight, the couples class is very important. Here's mom on her champion horse Bonnie Jean. Some other photos. That's me showing. But I wanted you to just get a look at the ribbon room, and especially these old photos, because I mentioned them in the book, and the ribbons are super important too. And of course the horseshoes hold a special place in the story.